Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Vampire the Masquerade. I'm Revlios Kilvin, and joining me is Allied Horizon.
Hello.
Yeah, he is the only one joining me for this little miniature session we have here. As with others, we are slowly gathering, little one-on-one sessions to better develop their characters and help them learn, as this is... Wait, I feel like somebody in our group has VTM experience. I can't remember who, though.
Keegan, I believe.
Well, I meant other than Keegan, but good enough. Either way, need to teach you people. Need to teach you people to play. As a joke, what does Andy do when confronted with two humans?
Tries to passion him again.
Well, yeah, he blows a couple attempts of dementation.
Aww.
And it's his solution. He comes up to two humans and vampire magic. It's like, Jesus Christ. Eventually, after he realized all that wasn't really working very well, he finally figured out he can just lie to people. Great lesson for him, really.
Well, all that matters is learning and the experience.
Yep. All right. So, speaking of which, you took up a bed at a local inn when we last left off with you.
Yes, sir.
Down here by the riverside.
A lovely view at night, really.
Mm-hmm. Besides, the somber love the water, it's fine. And so, is there anything else you do that night, or do you just pretty much hang around and dry off?
I dry my my hands and I remove my the coat and everything else I was wearing, and I begin immediately starting to write letters if I can get a hold of any paper and a pen to the various I cannot pronounce the leaders of the Premier. Thank you. To apologize to them for my misconduct, and that I to the main ones at the time, that if they are in need of anything, that they may call upon me for my transgression against them and everybody else at the meet and greet.
Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't exactly a meet and greet. It'll do. I'd like to remind you that it was the Unity Ball to celebrate the unity of the Empire.
I of course word it far more efficiently on the paper with a dictionary next to me, so I'm ensure that everything's flawless.
All right. With so much time to read it over and everything, I'll allow you to use intelligence in place of charisma here. So please make intelligence etiquette checks.
With a difficulty of
6. You'll find that a lot of things just get put into difficulty 6, but may require multiple successes for varying degrees of success. So a single success at difficulty 6, unfortunately, doesn't really net you much, but it happens. All right, so you get to work writing letters of apology, and eventually the night comes to a close, and you lay down, you curl up in bed, you make sure your wet clothes are covering the window nice and tight, and no sunlight enters the room, and you just sort of sleep the day off. Do not disturb sign, hanging on your door handle so no maids come in.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there a door on the lock, by chance?
Oh, there's a door on the lock.
My apologies. A lock on the door.
Yes, there is.
I would also lock that before I go to bed, just on the off chance something ended up somehow following the wet cat home.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a humanity of 5. All right. So, the sun finally sets, and you wake up 2 hours later, as per your norm.
Cracking everything.
And as you wake up, you see a tall figure sitting in the chair, reading your letters. It appears to be feminine in nature.
Am I able to see the door from the way I was laying?
Yes.
Do I see the door, like the lock on the door, turn to open at all?
Yes, the lock appears to be open.
Excuse me, madame. May I inquire as to why you are located within my room when I had a do not disturb sign on it? I take it I cannot see her face, of course, because...
No, she's sitting against the wall, like I said, reading your apology notes.
Madame, I'm sorry, but I do not believe this is your room, and I do not know why you were actually in here.
Well, at this point, she stands up, and you see that this woman is rather abnormally tall, about 6'7", you'd put her at? Just over 200 centimeters.
I simply gulp because she is...
You gulp because she is what?
tall.
Alright. Well, she puts the letter down and turns to face you and says, "Ah, you're awake. My apologies for storming in. I just thought I would come by and see just what the Sabbat was embracing these days." She seems to kindly just sort of walk over to your bedside.
I move enough to where she could have a sit down on it, and I'm not taking up much of the room.
Well, she seems to just stand there and waits.
Do I see her face as of yet?
Yes. And says, "Are you going to get up in it any time this night?"
I was planning on laying low for another night, so as to not encounter any of the on-duty people who would be searching the nearby rivers for a body.
She sighs. And says, "That won't be an issue."
Then I proceed to stand up and proceed to start getting dressed.
Mm-hmm. As you're doing that now, I have come with one question in particular mind.
Yes, what is that question?
And her expression, is from a almost pleasing to "I'm going to kill you" demeanor, has just sort of washed over her face. Just absolutely, what the hell were you thinking at the ball last night?
I had lost my composure due to seeing the sheer awe and magnitude of the other elders' sheer power, for it has caught me off guard, and I've never seen anything like it before.
She drops a giant sigh. I know the Sabbat embrace damn well near useless people, but God, I didn't think you'd be so actively harmful to the entire clan. She calls herself and introduces herself as Lady Aanso. The name you've at least heard in passing. You aren't really sure who she is, but you've heard of her somewhere. And you already have her character sheet revealed to you.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. So, basically, for those of you watching, she is a rather powerful noble vampire. She currently rules over most of what is Slovenia through her and her childer. And she is, 1350, it's currently 1912. What does that put her at? 650 years old?
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, most notably, her age puts her at old enough to potentially have known La Sombra himself, as he was destroyed just after 1400. So this is a pretty powerful vampire you've attracted the attention of.
And not the good attention either.
Well, I mean, by generation, she is technically a Methuselah, but thankfully she's not quite as powerful as the others. And anyway, and she says, I've come to try and rectify the damage you've caused. And just as she effectively sneers, she backhands you. Like, just the good old bitch slap. Except you're the bitch.
My guy stumbles back, having been caught off guard by...
No, it's much worse than that, you see.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because she's a La Sombra, right? So,
yeah.
She has what's called potence.
Oh, no.
That whole vampiric strength thing. So, in short, we're just gonna see what happens here. Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, that's bad. Alright. You're gonna need to soak a lot of damage, my friend. Wow, that's... Jesus, I've never seen the dice come up that good for an attack.
I might need a coffin, not a bed.
Well, no.
Stamina is so correct.
Yeah.
I have 2.
So you get to roll 2 dice. Okay.
Sounds about right. Thanks, Dice Gods.
So, good news, it is still bashing damage, which actually saves your life, because all incoming bashing damage to vampires is what?
Non-lethal?
Well, there's that, but in particular, it's halved and rounded down. So 11 becomes 5. So, good news, you're alive. But you'll need to go to your health, and you'll have to mark off 5 levels using the little dash. This does bring you down to mauled. No. You just put lethal damage into crippled.
Oh, you said dash.
Yes, and you also, A, didn't count, and B, didn't follow the instructions.
I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to this character.
That's fine. I'll do an example here for you. So you took 5 levels of bashing damage. So you do this. 3, 4, miss 5. There you go.
Oh, that's how it works.
Yes, that's how the health chart works. So that way you can take different levels of damage, because they may have different effects on your character. Bashing being the least problematic, and aggravated being the most. Thankfully, it's not aggravated.
This is such a confusing character sheet.
Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade. Nobody said it would be easy.
Fair enough.
Alright, so, in addition to the -2 dice pool you now have to everything, you also can only move at half speed. You are, by all means, in a lot of pain. And what actually happens to you? Well, she backhands you, and you just go flying into the wall. Like, unfortunately for you, it's pretty much a concrete wall, and there's just several cracks in it now. And also several cracks running through your body's bone structure.
I didn't need those.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're not feeling super great after that, as you just sort of finally unstick from the wall.
Good.
Yeah. You've definitely lost use of one of your arms that just sort of fell into the wall. Like the bone in there has been shattered into at least 1,000 pieces.
Just kind of dangling there now.
Yeah, it's made of jelly. It's got no bone in it anymore.
I mean, I still have my arm, so there's that. There's always that positive.
Exactly, right? That said, would you like to begin repairing the damage?
That would use my blood pool, correct?
Correct. At a rate of 1 to 1. So if you've taken 5 damage, you need to expend how much blood? There we go.
I believe...
It will take you a total of 5 turns to do it, but since you're not really in combat unless you're going to try and fight back...
No, I'm more worried. When I look up at her from finally, like, kind of getting off the floor, does she look like...
No, you weren't on the floor, that's the problem. You were on the wall, son.
No, I meant when I got out of the wall, because I just came out of an indentation in the wall, pretty much. And I'm...
Yeah.
Because I'm sore. Like, does it look like she's going to hit me again?
No, she's looking at her, hand like, man, I don't know my own strength.
Then yes, I would like to begin repairing the damage done to me.
Mm-hmm. Alright. And she goes, my apologies, I didn't mean to hit you that hard.
I have earned it for what I've done to the clan.
She sighs and says, tell me, how long were you with the Sabbat? Surely they must have educated you in something.
I was with the Sabbat for nearly 5 to 10 years before my sire broke us free.
Right, she says. Man, that's great. I was with them for nearly 5 to 10 years.
The rest of the time was spent either running from them or trying to make contact with the Camarilla.
Camarilla?
Camarilla.
It's just the way you said that, for nearly 5 to 10 years. Just...
I have more important things to focus on, like the pain in my body as of the moment.
This is fair. Oh. Oh, dear. Yeah. Alright. So, she gives a curious glance at you. You're younger than I thought you were.
I kind of like pull back, thinking she's going to hit me again.
Yeah, she doesn't. She kind of wants to raise her arm to do it, but is just kind of controlling herself at this point. You can tell she's doing her best to, like, not outrightly beat the shit out of you, to the point you probably won't wake up for a few weeks. But you can tell she wants to.
My guy is kind of like not so much averting gaze, but to the point of where like he's just like, he acknowledges that she is in total control here, and he is as apologetic as can be for literally everything.
Yeah, and she says, for decades, I have worked tirelessly to bring the image of Clan La Sombre up. She says, the Tremere weren't always this accepting of us. Indeed, most of the Camarilla still views us with extreme suspicion. And you've put decades, if not 100 years of my work in jeopardy with your one act tonight. I don't think you understand just how much thin ice our clan skates on.
Without sounding like a smart aleck, I truly do not actually know how thin of a thin the ice is that the clan walks on. I do not know that at all.
She sighs. Pathetic. Get your clothes. I'll meet you outside.
As you say, my lady.
She just casually walks out of the room. You're kind of worried when she does shut the door, though, because you can see a few cracks around the hinges.
I look at the window and I debate for a moment, would I get far enough away? And then I realized, no, I would not. So I do as she says and dresses as quickly and as presentably as possible so as to not offend her even more, as I have already done.
Wise choice, friend. Wise choice. So, eventually you get your stuff together and pay for your day at the inn, and head outside, and you can see a rather opulent horse-drawn carriage. Definitely one from the upper class. And you see Lady Aanso sitting inside.
I slowly approach it, unsure of whether she wants me to ride on the top or within with her.
She beckons.
I slowly climb into it and kind of awkwardly find a spot to sit down, not used to any of this whatsoever, even more so after getting hit so hard.
Yeah, your body's still vibrating a little bit. This is the wave works its way back and forth. Just, yeah. Alright, so, and she signals and, hits the side, signals the driver, and off you go. And she says, our clan, for the last 600 years, has been the suspicion. Well, not 600, sorry. That'd be for modern knights. For the last 500 years. Even I make a slip up sometimes. The last 500 years has been of great suspicion to the Camarilla. For the vast majority of our brethren joined the Sabbat. And those traitors.
My guy nods slowly to this.
She says, I'm not sure how much wary of this you are, but the Sabbat La Sombra, they killed our antediluvian.
My guy goes from nodding his head to stopping real fast and looking over at her like thinking is she lying? What?
It was an unfortunately rather successful coup that happened in the Shadow Castle of Sicily. Ever since then there has been a great divide in our clan. Those who supported Goratio and those who supported Montanto, the last two children of La Sombra.
My guy just develops a frown of just both of shock and just sadness kind of washing over him, realizing things are actually incredibly bad and far off than he was ever enlightened to in any capacity.
Gratiano, I think is actually how it's pronounced. I just had to double check that. Because God knows I'm an Anglo, I can't pronounce shit that's, not in English. Alright. So, Gratiano was but a mere 280 years old. And yet he managed to kill a god. He just sort of sighs. Well, she sort of sighs.
My lady, isn't that impossible to do such a thing?
Many would think, but apparently not. And unfortunately, Gratiano managed to convince the vast majority of the clan to support him. The few remaining children of Montano, who would not bow. We sided with the Camarilla. And ever since, we have proven to have the greatest fury when fighting the Sabbat. But nonetheless, we are looked upon with the most suspicion. It's a truly unfair and very cruel way.
My guy, the weight of realizing how badly he did screw up, not just from what he understood, but to now to realize, just kind of sinks somewhat into his seat and looks directly down at his feet.
She sighs. Tell me, do you know one of the reasons we're viewed with such suspicion?
the only thing I can think of would be our shadows and the control over them.
Well, she nods. You're not far off, and in fact, in part correct. Many people view the power that we wield over darkness as a sign of evil, when in reality we are just bending that evil to our own will. It's best to remember that. We don't have to be monsters. But, she says, because despite our immense hatred for the other side, we are staunch traditionalists and are unfortunately forced to work with them. Have you heard of Les Amis Noirs?
Not at all, my lady.
They are the Friends of the Night. They are the organization of who's who in our clan, and it includes members both from Montano's bloodline and Gratiano's bloodline. Even now, many La Sombra on this side have practiced diablerie, an act expressly forbidden by the Camarilla, on their clanmates, based on the recommendation from the blood courts. Basically, at this point, she goes through to explain what all this are. I believe I've already given you the rudimentary run-through.
Yes, sir.
But for the viewers, Clan La Sombra maintains Les Amis Noirs, the Friends of the Night. They are the most powerful, indeed, really anyone of any power, generally is at least a member in the Les Amis Noirs. But the most powerful, the elders, which can be from either the clan of La Sombra or its antitribu, they meet in what are called blood courts. Using special obtenebration magic, they effectively shield their identities and all commune into a shadow courtroom, where La Sombra can bring up grievances against one another. And if one member of the clan is found to not be, representing the clan very well, or acting against the clan's overall interests, and this is regardless of sect. It's not, someone is a traitor to the Sabbat. Oh, no. That's perfectly acceptable as far as Clan La Sombra is concerned. It's, are you a traitor to the clan? And that's one of the key things that's really hard for a lot of people to wrap their head around with La Sombra. Is because a lot of clans are, especially like, say, the Ventru, are just so intertwined with their sect, that's hard to sometimes separate them. But when you do something that's a straight embarrassment to a lot of other vampires, be them Sabbat or Camarilla, then many of the blood courts will simply agree that it's a problem. Context is everything, and they're willing to completely cross sect lines when it comes to that. Despite if in the Sabbat your act would have been at least, viewed as an attempt at doing something good, it would, even the Sabbat members of the Blood Court would very much so have ruled against your favor in this. Now, that's a problem. Generally, thankfully, one act isn't enough to convene a Blood Court against you. But a couple of acts is. And, well, the blood courts rule as to whether or not you should be diablerized. Because that is the punishment for being a bad La Sombra. Is your power is given to a good La Sombra. After all, waste not, whatnot, right?
Indeed.
So, there's a certain gravity to your situation, as she explains this. Literally realizing that diablerization means that your soul gets eaten. You don't go to those pearly white gates or that pit of fire. You're gone. Forever. Your soul is ripped and torn apart and consumed by another. And this is the penalty that awaits you if you continue this course of transgressions against Clan La Sombra. So, from now on, I hope you understand how important it is that you work for the prestige and glory of your clan. And most certainly, must not be an embarrassment.
Mm-hmm. So slowly nods his head.
She seems to wonder if any of it sunk in for a little bit. Just sits there remaining silent and contemplating.
He speaks up and he kind of looks over at her, still terrified of the backhanding because that's not something you get over. And he goes, "Is there anything that I can do as of now to either lessen the damage done or reverse it in general? I will do what I must to fix."
I was reading your apology letters. They are pathetic. Don't grovel for forgiveness. What's done is done. You must replace the act of old with acts of new.
He slowly nods his head, not 100% getting it, but getting the basics of it.
Mm-hmm. Rather than, groveling for and apologizing, you need to do a new act. You need to do something good that for people to talk about, other than your extreme faux pas. It's already in the record. There's no point in trying to change that. But if you move it a little farther back in the record by making new entries...
means it's less looked at.
Exactly. And that is how you heal this wound. At this point, she begins to read today's paper. And you can't help but notice that she seems to be reading the back of it as if to, I guess, signal you. And the front page story is about a serial killer on the loose.
His eyebrows kind of like, not eyebrows, his face kind of like squinches so he can read it better in the lights as we're going down the whatever road.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the fun part. A killing has been just declared serial, as a second body has been found. The heart removed, and the carcass crafted into a crude form known as a blood eagle.
Why are the pagans here?
You'd be surprised, but not the point. You can see a picture of the flayed corpse, and it is somewhat disturbing. Also peculiar is the body is surrounded by a blood circle with a series of runes. It's happening over in the Poor District.
Does the picture on the because there's a picture on the newspaper, correct?
Yes.
Of the ruins and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
May I make an occult check to see if I know what those would be?
Yes. Intelligence occult is acceptable here. Difficulty 9. Actually kind of impressive. You identify the runes with ancient Greece, and in particular, the goddess of sorcery, Hecate.
Okay. Would I... I guess I just keep reading at that point, then, not aware of all the dots as of yet.
Alright, well, as it notes, this is the second killing that is of this nature. And it's happening in the western city, noted over here, in which there is a bit significantly higher amounts of, poor people.
People who usually, if they go missing, nobody would care about.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, even if somebody does go missing, when their body turns up like this in the middle of the street...
Oh, this was in the middle of the street?
Yes. Yes, that's the concerning part, is this is happening in the middle of the street. As if to attract attention.
my guy's brows furrow. And does it make mentions of the other crime committed, or just of this one that was found?
It states that the other one was committed by the South Riverside Street about a week ago. You vaguely remember hearing a few things about it, but because it was an isolated incident, no one really was too concerned. But unfortunately, turns out it wasn't an isolated incident, was it?
Never
Just
is.
the start. So, at this point, the horse carriage comes to a stop. And she takes the newspaper down and says, "Here we are at the train station, so you can go home." Assuming you don't have any unfinished business in the city, she says, with an almost glare, as she gets out of the carriage.
She's getting out as well?
Yeah.
I proceed to follow her out, and if need be, because I actually have never been in a carriage, if she needs help, offer a hand or whatever that is.
You know how strong she is. She does indeed have a rather heavy-looking suitcase, but she seems to have absolutely no problem, handling it herself, as she walks to the train station.
And then would these train tracks run over near there?
Well, you don't know how to read a map.
Not at all.
Okay. So you see, this is probably the most obvious one. You see these lines here.
Yes, sir. That's a train track.
Yes, on a map, you'll note that a line with several intersecting little nubs like that represents a train track.
So then, yes, it would, because it would lead down to wrong thing. Here, and then up to here, which I believe would be a train station?
You are, in fact, almost correct, but if you follow the line, yeah, you'll note it goes to here.
Yeah.
And then over to here.
Yes, I is that like one of the train yard things where they...
Actually, no, it is a train station.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then it would go over in that
Yes,
train.
it would be the meeting train station.
Then yes,
All right. It's a £5 ticket. Highway robbery, but trains you can't help but notice usually don't run at this hour.
I'm not gonna question it. Just gonna nod my head and pay the toll.
Yeah. She gets on a separate train, and even weirder is that there's 2 trains in the station operating at this hour. But
still not gonna question it.
yeah, something's very odd. And as you get onto the train, you can't help but notice that there is a grand total of 1 other person on it. It just seems to be a mundane human as far as you can tell. Unless you want to roll awareness.
Yes, I will attempt to roll awareness.
Alright. Roll perception awareness. Yep, you believe him to be a human.
I wave at him like a normal human would. I go, good at, hello, odd time, and, kind of go to a back seat to where I could act as if I'm asleep, but I would be able to keep an eye on the one person that's on the train with me.
Alright. Well, the train just sort of starts running along the tracks, and the man steps up, walks over to you, and slowly begins to look you over, and examines you. You can't help but notice that he has a cross necklace, and he seems to be wearing a vest and several straps over it, alongside a trench coat. And
It's a streaker. Should I have been warned about this?
Yeah, you might have. At any rate, he looks you over, and I'm going to need you to make a Wits Masquerade roll. P.S. I'd like to remind you that this roll gives you a maximum number of dice based on your humanity. So Wits...
It does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so 5 either way. You're fine. Alright, well, let's see if you're noticed. Nope. He's at this point looks you over and just goes back down, sits down. And the train comes up to a stop and he gets off. Congratulations on dodging being detected by a hunter.
I just wave to him because of his odd act and because I don't know like what that was over. I just wave and like kind of be like, he kind of needs like mental help, the weirdo.
On another character note, while what you did last night didn't, hard breach the Masquerade, you might note that suspicious incidents, like, say, running down the street covered in blood, may attract attention. And and as I was saying, he was reading a newspaper. So, keep that in mind. Good to note for now. And at this point, you're on the train all alone. And it comes up to Mighting Station. And, you can now get off.
Over here, correct?
Well, the station is here, if that's what you're wondering.
Oh, okay, yeah. Alright, so then I will, around just to see, like, if there's anybody else out and about for the night.
No, but as you walk past the gentleman's seat, you can't help but notice that, his newspaper was actually opened to a story about a crazed, bloody man and a police sketch.
My guy narrows his eyes and wonders who that handsome, mysterious stranger is. And realizes he needs to go probably completely shaved for a few nights instead of just cutting quite a bit off.
Yeah.
That will be what he goes and does before entering the he'll find like a dark alley and just take it off if possible using his shadow magic. I think he could do that, maybe. Because I don't have a knife on me.
Yeah, I've never had somebody ask me if they can use a shadow tentacle to shave before. It does deal lethal damage, so in theory, yes. All right, yeah, you know what? I'll allow it. I'll allow it. You can use Arms of the Abyss to make a shadow tentacle to shave with. So I'm going to need you to make a manipulation occult roll, difficulty 7. Alright, unfortunately,
This is how I
waste
die.
your blood point. No, you just waste your blood point. So you'll have to spend a blood point and try again.
Alright, let me...
So it'll have cost you a total of 2 blood.
Actually, if you give me a moment here, I would be spending 5 already, so 2. I would actually be I would be hungry at this point as well.
That's concerning. Perhaps you shouldn't then. Entering the state of being hungry is never good.
I will hold off on one just on it. Is there any glass laying around on the ground? Because this is the poorer district, correct?
Yeah.
So would there be like any sharp pieces of metal or glass just laying about from a bottle or things of that nature?
Yeah, it's not too hard to find shards of a broken beer bottle here and there.
What is the check to use that to shave?
I'll put it at dexterity difficulty 8. It is a, I don't even know what the hell kind of ability this would be. Attribute, definitely dexterity, but... Man, I haven't been asked this question before.
One of the finest questions for you.
Yeah, apparently so, right? I guess I'd have to pin it to, you know what? Let's pin it to,
Would it be streetwise? Would it be
Streetwise.
streetwise? Yes, because you're
No.
using the things in the street to be wise.
That's not exactly what that means, unfortunately.
Worth a shot.
Yeah, I'm afraid not. I'm gonna have to make it, I guess, athletics, which you aren't very good at, so.
Oh.
I mean, technically, it falls under that purview, I suppose. Alright. Dexterity athletics, extreme shaving.
What is the check?
It is dexterity athletics for a total of 2 dice at a difficulty of 6. Or, no, wait, difficulty of 8. Alright, you botch. Alright, well, let's see. How much strength do you have?
2.
Alright, we'll roll 3 dice for damage then. Alright, please soak.
I would have 2 stamina, so I would soak all of that then?
You get 2 dice to soak with, if none of them come
Oh,
up
my
with
apologies.
6. Yes. Let's see how badly you... Ooh, alright, you managed to not hack up your face too bad. But unfortunately, you don't... You've now just got a really patchy mustache. It's gonna require you to at least try again, if nothing else.
I blend in the poor district, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I will put that down and acknowledge the fact that I am not the best barber around, and I will just proceed into the poor district.
Alright. Okay.
By the way, can you ping on the map for me where the hunter had gone off his stop?
His stop was here.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I may very well, thinking about that, I may very well encounter him during this, as I doubt a bloody eagle would not also draw the attention of hunters.
Mm-hmm. That's fair to say.
I will then stick mainly to the shadows and the poor district as I...
Alright. Roll dexterity stealth check for me. You can, if you so choose, activate Shadow Play to give yourself an extra die.
I will, and that will cost me another blood point.
Yep. Again, warning about hunger.
Yeah, no, I can't. I need to find a person to eat.
Well, I can't help but notice you haven't been marking down your blood pool at all.
I actually don't know how long that has been, Has it been the 5 turns then?
What, to heal your damage?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. That five turns is about 15 seconds. Give or
Oh,
take.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, you can mark down those 5.
And I can get rid of the health negatives.
Mm-hmm. So, would you prefer to not activate Shadow Play then?
Not until I've located a either freshly dead body that's died of natural causes, or have located anything else to feed off of.
Alright. Well, it's the poor district. Would you like to try and hunt for some fresh blood?
Now that I've tried to use my stealth, sure. I do not. Would that be survival then?
Not quite. Not quite. In fact, it would be stamina streetwise. Or no, perception streetwise, my bad. In your case, as you hunt through the poor district, looking for prey. Oh.
I am not a lucky vampire. I need an adult.
Well, luckily it's not a botch. You do have a 7. So, and the hour is just spent in vain.
Can I spend... what time is it now? Like 10? 11?
Well, let's see. You woke up about 2 hours after sunset. So, 7 p.m. then. You spent about an hour on the train. Now with Lady Aanso, it's about 9:30. Or no, yeah, 10.
I would like to spend another hour hunting, because the sun
Alright.
won't rise for another 7 or 8 hours, give or take.
Yep. All right, 2 successes. All right, you do successfully locate a vessel. A poor-looking housewife returning from some errand of some sort. She has a cowl on that she appears to be using to hide some black eyes and other various bruises.
Aww.
But she's alone, and there's no one else around.
Is there any way to double check to make sure nobody else is around?
That's part of your hunting.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you're locating someone who's isolated.
Then I would like to go up to the lady and like.
You've really 2 options here. You can attempt to charisma her or just overpower her.
Can I proposition her? Because it seems like she's in the poor district with abused eyes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So could I not proposition her for a hour or so of good times and use that to feed upon her?
You could.
Distracted?
Yes.
That
would be appearance subterfuge. And depending how much money you want to throw at her, you can get bonuses to this roll. You know.
I will throw.
Remember, one crown, of which you have 448 of, is about $20 in today's money. So
I think I'll throw 5 crowns at her, because that's $100 then.
Yep. All right, that will grant you a singular bonus die. So you have 5 dice for this. All right. And she will make a counter roll with her conscience. All right. Very good. She accepts your offer. And the good times, well, they're at least for one person, as the euphoria of blood overcomes you. Thankfully, you chose to not be hungry for this, so you don't have to make a roll. You can simply take up to 4 blood points without killing her.
Okay, so 4 without killing her then. All right, I will take
up to 10 if you want to kill her, but
I
generally don't recommend it.
I don't believe my tentacles like any of my the shadow abilities I have are able to dispose of a body as of yet. So I'll just take 4.
Yep. It's not very good tasting blood, but it is blood. Alright. Well, it was an hour spent good hunting.
Alright, and then I shall once again embark upon the hunt for the mysterious worshipper of the Greek goddess.
Yes, the goddess of witchcraft, Hecate. Alright. So, where would you like to begin your investigation?
The most recent scene of the crime.
Alright, so you skulk your way over through the city, and you reach the police zone. There's one disinterested policeman who's just sitting there, more or less reading through the paper. He's not even really paying any attention. There's the tape is up, police line, do not cross. And he's mostly just there to watch the crime scene, make sure no one tampers with it.
Are there, so it's just him then watching over the crime scene, there's nothing else or anybody else?
Yep.
Am I able to get because I can see better than a human, correct?
No.
Oh. Alright, then I guess I'll just walk up to the crime scene, acting like any other normal homeless person, to bother him for a few coins, and while that's going on, look over the crime scene from a distance.
Alright. As you walk under the police tape to attempt at panhandling.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Future.
Manipulation subterfuge. Oh, not bad. You managed to make 2 crowns off of panhandling, but more importantly, managed to distract him for a good while. Giving you some basic time to look over the crime scene. Unfortunately, it's from a distance, and the alleyway isn't exactly lit, so it's not exactly good look over. But go for wits investigation, of which, or not wits, perception investigation, of which you only have perception, so 2 dice. And unfortunately, due to the darkness and distance, the difficulty will be increased to 8. No dice.
Alas.
Yeah, you're not exactly the greatest for this, unfortunately.
Can I, while I'm like panhandling him, like talk to him about like why he's crazy out here at night and like what happened here? Because I'm clearly a hobo who cannot afford a newspaper whatsoever.
The policeman turns over to the front page, points at this, then points at the body, and says, "Don't get any closer to it. It is a crime scene, sir."
Like I kind of like makes a like the body is still there.
And he goes, "Yep, we need to get some dental records back and get a positive identification on the victim."
Do you have any like ideas onto who the person is?
And he goes, "Sadly, not a damn clue. But don't worry, we'll find him. We always do."
Thank you. It's bad enough being poor.
Yeah, now run along. He sort of waves you off.
My guy like slowly like goes off to go be homeless around the corner, and then he kind of like goes back to standing up straight. Like, I hate it.
Yeah, you drop the homeless routine. Just slick back your hair. It's like, all right.
Is there because he would be looking out the alleyway now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So is there any way I can go? Because can I get on top of the buildings?
That's not really going to get you any closer than you were.
I asked that because if I go on top of the buildings, I could then I believe. One moment, please. I think I can slide down the walls using one of my abilities, and then be right there with the. No, I do not actually have the ability to do that as of yet. My plan was to go up on the roof and then come down and look at the crime scene itself while it's shrouded.
Yeah, you were planning on using Obtenebration 5, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, not a skill you quite have yet. Good try, though. Good try.
Is there any way to the inky cloud I can create? How long does that last? You said 10 to 20 seconds or minutes?
It's 10 minutes, I believe. I would have to check real quick. Obtenebration, Shroud of Night. 50 yards. Let's see. Doesn't actually say how long it lasts, as far as I can see.
If I were to jump off the roof, what type of damage would I take? Would I take damage from the distance, from the top of the roof into the alleyway?
You'd take a few points of bashing, but you can probably soak it, and if you're with a little bit of lucky dice, take none.
With the it's starting to get to the darkest point of the night, correct?
Yeah.
Were there any lights on inside the alleyway?
Not really.
Trying to see if a shadow of the Shroud of Night would be able to if I could go on the roof and cast it down and then drop down into there, and then have it disguised while I'm working inside the area. Did I see any
Could potentially
doors
work.
like connected to the alleyway, or was it just like a
Nope.
dead end?
It's not even a dead end. There is another entrance.
Oh, and there was just one cop there.
Yeah.
Oh, well then I'm just gonna go to the other side and cast this. I thought it was a dead end alleyway.
No, there are two. It's two sides. It's just like a passage between buildings.
Then yes, I would like to go to the other side and cast my shroud of night into there, because I can still see within it.
Correct.
And it distorts light to where he would be able to see the body, and if I'm good enough...
No, he wouldn't even be able to see the body.
But he would expect it to still be there, correct?
Yeah, it's probably not going to be super noticeable, but, you know.
Then yes, I will go ahead to the other side of the street where the other alley is, and then I will cast my Shroud of Night down the alleyway.
All right. Please roll Manipulation Occult, difficulty 7. Two successes. All right. So you just kind of like, you don't create a particularly large cloud. You just sort of create like a little semicircle of cloud around the body that you just kind of, crawl into.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Right.
So you've now gotten really close to the body. Unfortunately, it's still pretty annoyingly dark. Despite the fact that you can see through the Shroud of Night, that doesn't really help you here, as, you can't...
See.
Yeah, it's still naturally really dark. Just because it's not any darker for you doesn't actually help your case here, unfortunately. Potentially, if you had some kind of light source, you might be able to get a little better, but you do at least get a chance. So, roll Perception Investigation, difficulty 7. Unfortunately, as we talked about.
Majestic.
Yeah. Like, you identify the runes, but, yeah, nothing else. Yeah. You spend about 5 minutes examining the body, and unfortunately, you can't really make heads or tails of any of it. You're not exactly a forensic scientist here or anything.
Are the ruins still here?
Yeah, the runes are still painted into the cobblestone pathways.
Can I attempt to see, because now that I'm actually here and looking at them, can I...
Decipher their actual meaning?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Probably not here. Since no one really has a particularly great knowledge of, Greek runes. But you could probably scribble them down on something.
Is there any newspaper lying around in the alleyway?
Unfortunately not.
The one time the cops are thorough. Am I able to scribble it down onto my, hand or the back of it? Like, the basics of it, not in, from the top left to the bottom right in the order going clockwise?
Alright. You could potentially do it with, your nail and cutting yourself a little bit.
That's fine. There's not really any blood there anyway.
Yeah. Alright. So, I'm gonna need to have you roll Soak.
Oh, no.
Just to make sure you don't, hurt yourself too badly. And that's fine. All you needed was a single success. Alright. So you just sort of make, your cuts along it. And you, move just a little blood to the surface, so now you have bloody runes inscribed into your arm. And potentially, if you were to go to an inn at least, you would potentially be able to get access to something which you could use to write them down. On a slightly better, surface. Like paper. Much better than flesh, I hear.
You've never handled the Necronomicon, then?
No, I can't say that I have.
I would actually decide to try to find a bookstore at this hour of night of antiquities, I believe.
Antiquities?
Yes, sir.
In the poorest district in the city.
Well, there's such a thing called the black market, And that would logically operate in the poorest district and the rich.
Yeah, but the goods you're seeking aren't illegal.
Oh, that's right. They didn't actually make that stuff illegal until like after like the First World War. All right, then. Is there any? Oh no, I already looked.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Nazi regime.
I've
just so
looked.
you know.
I've looked over the body already itself, or did I look around like all of the alleyway?
You looked pretty much at the runes and everything within the circle of power surrounding the body.
When I with my perception check, did I look just at the body, or did I also look at everything else I could?
Yeah, everything you pretty much could.
Are the runes made of blood?
Yes. By your guess, the victim's blood.
Does the victim still have any blood, or is he completely drained of it?
Well, I mean, there's like a pool of blood in their chest cavity because somebody removed their heart, right?
Yeah, I just meant like is it like
there is definitely blood in the body.
Is there was there like any signs of like the blood going up a wall or anything?
Nope.
Or no drip marks? Okay, all right. My guy then will then begin to like army crawl out of the alleyway with like the little his shroud of night kind of like keeping him covered so he can get to the end without the policeman.
Yeah,
and
very
stand
conveniently,
up.
you can move the shroud of night with you. So if you compress it down to just more or less be around you, more or less move around as just a black blob, practically impossible to detect you, especially in the darkness.
I'll just squish it down on top of me and crawl
Pretty
out.
much. Yep. All right, and you escape into the night. Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, you aren't going to be finding a bookstore, especially not one that sells antique books in this district of town. Unfortunately, there's probably a good amount of people in this district of town who are completely illiterate.
Would I be able to locate the are there any like newspapers in the do they have boxes back then of newspapers or no? Or was it the kid on the corner?
Stands. And kids on the corner, yeah. Unfortunately, kids on the corner tend not to operate at 3 a.m.
Do stands operate at 3 a.m.?
No. Not much of the city operates at 3 a.m., I'm afraid.
I was hoping to go find would I by chance is there a role that I can do to try to remember where the original crime scene happened?
Yes, the original crime scene happened near the train station.
Oh lovely, just where my best friend is currently. Off we go.
Alright, so you head back over to the train station, more or less. Pretty much like just a freaking like 2 blocks from it anyway.
Oh, this is happening within reaching distance of the train station.
Yeah, more or less.
It's not good.
But unfortunately, one of the facts of this body was that it wasn't discovered until hours later. So, something you have to at least note about this is, if they aren't discovering the bodies until hours later, what does that mean?
Hours after the crime or hours after sunrise?
Hours after the crime.
This is a very unpatrolled district.
Well, if it's happening in the middle of the night, even then. Especially if it's happening in, dark alleyways. People might not notice, but...
Well, then it's not a person coming on the trains or leaving on the trains. Excluding, in case there's that magical train that has a dominated train person on it. So it's a localized area so far based around the train tracks.
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
This was the location of the... Oh, Christ, pixel perfect this here. Let me zoom in a little. This was the location of the first crime. This over here was the location of the second crime.
Is there anything notable within, that distance?
Not really. Like I said, it's mostly just the poor section of town. So, poor people generally aren't notable, so no.
Yeah, no, I guess I'll go to and look over the, is the original crime scene having a cop there?
No, the original crime scene's been mostly cleaned up, unfortunately. It happened just about a week ago.
Rats.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think here what the next proper course of action would be. How close am I from like a district that would have actually have a bookstore in it?
Well, you'd probably want to head over to like the more middle class region up here, if you were,
Have I encountered any poor people like while I've been walking?
Yeah, but they mostly keep to themselves.
Did I
Because
encounter any
as it
back
turns out, you're kind of a freak walking around at 3 a.m. Hate to tell you this. The people who are out at 3 a.m. probably also ooh,
Bless
have
you.
questionable agendas. So,
Did I encounter any near the crime scene?
not really.
Are there any near this crime scene?
There are a couple people nearer to the train station.
I think I'll go have a chat with them.
All right.
See if they've been in the area since the original attack, or if they've just moved in. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. They inform you to mind your own business. They don't know anything about the damn crime scene. They're probably engaged in their own shady activity at this point, but not really any of your business.
What would I to because there's clearly a killer on the loose preying on them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it would probably be in their best interest if they wish to survive and maybe one day stop being homeless to
Well, they actually aren't homeless.
Oh, they're just poor people?
Yeah, they're just poor. Like, they're not destitute, they're poor.
Well, if they ever want to become middle class people and or keep their lives and homes, it would probably be in their best interest to help locate the crazy
They
man.
once again, in a slightly less polite fashion, fuck off, you wanka. We don't know nothing. Mind your own damn business.
You said I could drink 10 from a person?
Yes.
That's too much, damn.
You don't have to drink all 10, but drink up to 10.
Yeah, no, I will just kind of like frown and just kind of like screw off to begin.
Alright, you let the 3 people standing near the train station continue their conversation in peace.
I hope they get bloody decoded.
Well, unfortunately for you, notably about the victims, you have noted that they were both female.
I can go back and make them female.
Ooh. Damn. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we have to end the session here because you're out of leads. You haven't necessarily failed, but unfortunately it will mean that somebody else is probably going to have to die before you can figure out anything.
Well, I mean,
you do have the runes, so potentially you could investigate that.
Well, depending upon the runes, I could very much locate the bookstore. It's either closed right now or what have you not, and from those decipher the intelligence or the person they could have a social standing to where they would understand that, meaning they'd have to have a good education or something of that nature to be able to do that task. It could narrow it down.
You might be able to also find something at the Imperial History Museum.
That too.
That's in a wing of the Imperial Palace. Potentially, the curator there might know something, or at least be able to point you in the right direction. There are ways you can still go, but unfortunately, your activities for the night must come to a close. You tried your best. Don't feel bad. Just because there's a challenge in front of you doesn't mean it's immediately solvable. This is one of those lessons.
Don't help the poor people.
No, that wasn't the lesson.
The
lesson is not everything is immediately solvable.
Alrighty,
you aren't some magical Sherlock Holmes guy who can pick up a single scrap of paper at the crime scene and figure out everything about the killer's life story.
I have a question. Would my mafia family be at all interacting in this portion of the city?
No, generally not.
Right.
They generally, interact with the middle and upper classes more so. You might be able to find some hired goons here, but that would be about it. Potentially, you might have even been talking to hired goons before.
They just didn't know I
come
was their
on.
boss.
3 a.m., 3 people just acting suspicious around a train station. They're probably up to something illegal.
Nah, they're good, wholesome folks. But yeah,
Anyway.
I guess I'll just go get an inn for the night once more.
Yeah, you tried your best, and you did get something out of it. You have the runes. Potentially, you could solve something. Who knows? We'll see. But that will be for another time. So thank you everybody for watching. The mystery of the serial killer will continue next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.